What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into the channel. Today we're going to be going over the other side of the starter deck. We already talked about Grievous, but now we're going to go ahead and talk about Ahsoka Tano and the cards that come in her starter deck, as well as a few other cards that kind of go with it. Cards that have been revealed after the fact, but, you know, we had recorded this in the past and the audio wasn't that great. I figured I'd re-record it so the audio wouldn't make your guys' ears cry like the past. So we're going to fix that. Then Matt will be back, but we have to fix his mic real quick. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and start talking about the new leader from the heroic side of things. We talked about Grievous in the last video, right? Now we're going to be talking about Ahsoka Tano, and the new keyword that comes with Ahsoka Tano is coordinate. Now, exploit, people might think that exploit is going to be a little bit better, but coordinate still has potential. I think that coordinate can be a lot of fun. Coordinate's all about going wide, right? Coordinate becomes active when you have 3 or more units on your side of the board, and then you can start getting abilities on your units. But I think that where people think that exploit is going to be really, really strong because you can go ahead, sacrifice things, and make things cost way less, right? So you can go ahead, for example, Asajj Ventress. For each unit that you sacrifice to play her, or when you play her, she costs 2 less for each one. And she has exploit 2. You can go ahead and sacrifice up to 2 creatures, essentially making her free, which could really pick up the tempo for the villainy decks and the separatist decks. But still, I think coordinate has a place, and I think that it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm a heroic player, I'm a red heroic player, and that's probably where I'm going to stay, even though I want to play Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan's my favorite character. I'm going to play that deck no matter what. No matter what he is, and no matter how good he is, I'm going to be playing Obi-Wan. It does not matter. But when it comes to coordinate and Ahsoka Tano, her leader skill is coordinate. When you gains the ability when you control 3 or more units. So you have to have the 3 units on board before you can even use her leader ability. So that might be a little bit iffy at the start of the game. But when you do have coordinate active, you can go ahead and activate her for an action, attack with a unit. It gets +1 for this attack. So that's pretty cool, right? So if you have coordinate activated or available for you, you can go ahead, use an action, exhaust the leader, give one of your units +1/+0. It can help you maybe take out a sentinel or swing in for more powerful hits on the base, which is kind of what you want to do in aggro decks, aggression decks. You just want to go ahead and hit face, and if you can go ahead and gain any type of power increase, it's always helpful, right? And then you go ahead, and when she's a leader unit, she just has coordinate. This unit gets +2/+0. If you have coordinate active when she comes out, you're swinging for 5, and then she's essentially a 5/6 right out the gate for a 5-cost leader. Is actually pretty strong, and then you can go ahead and start smacking the base quickly, and it can provide a lot of pressure onto your opponents playing this leader if you can, again, get coordinate active pretty early. And the thing is with her, right, you have 2 units on the board. Once you bring her out, she's a 3rd unit, right? And then you have coordinate activated, and then you can go ahead and start swinging face for 5, and then maybe activate coordinate on your other 2 units, and that's how things are going to kind of play out. This might end up changing, because I know that a lot of the time, right, when you are on the turn, when you bring out your leader, more often than not, you're swinging with a bunch of units on the board first, and then bring out your leader when you feel like it's safe or whatever. I'm wondering, even though you're not going to want to bring out your leader when it's unsafe, but maybe you're going to start bringing out your leaders on the heroic side a little bit earlier if they have coordinate, to guarantee that you have coordinate right off the jump. And it might change the way that leaders are played, rather than just waiting till the end of the turn to bring it out. Maybe trying to get coordinate activated earlier in the turn, right? It's just a thought, right? Going into the next starter deck card, Captain Rex, right? Captain Rex is a 6-cost 4/4, which the numbers aren't going to blow you away. But his big thing is that when he's played, you create 2 clone tokens. Now, clone tokens are 2/2s, whereas battle droid tokens are 1/1s. Battle droid tokens are going to be used for exploit, sacrifice, and stuff like that. You're going to be using clone tokens to probably fuel your coordinate, and then you can go ahead and activate that keyword and start swinging for massive damage. And the thing is that with the clones being 2/2s, they can, if you get a few of them on the board, they can actually provide a pretty good amount of damage. I feel like that's going to be like kind of interesting. And again, it's always going to go back and forth what's going to be better, coordinate and exploit. But I think that the fact that clones are going to be a little bit harder to take out, and the fact that they, yeah, again, they're 2/2s and they're going to provide pressure on their opponent's base or into their units, it can make coordinate like really strong, because you're going to be getting coordinate, and then your other units with coordinate are going to make other units potentially stronger or give them other abilities, and that, and it's just you know, I think that it can spiral, and I think as you're going wide with coordinate, it can really start to boost up your forces and really make for some really strong combinations, right? So what's cool about Captain Rex is that when you have 6 resources, you play him and coordinate is active right then and there, right? He's just gonna go ahead, play, activate coordinate, because he is 3 units in 1 unit, which is pretty strong. If you can find a way to make him cheaper, he would be even better, which there are plenty of ways to make him cheaper, and there's actually going to be one in later on in this video, so we'll talk about that after we talk about this next starter deck card. And we have Anakin Skywalker. Now, I was kind of surprised that he was a starter deck card rather than a legendary card in the set. I'm wondering if they're going to be doing Anakin like they did Kira in set 2. Kira had a heroic unit, but a villainy leader. And I'm wondering if Anakin Skywalker is going to be a villainy leader, because it is the Clone Wars. He is majority heroic for the Clone Wars, but you never know. I do remember in Destiny that they went with Darth Vader Anakin as the first card. So I'm wondering if they're going to end up doing that again. But going off of Anakin Skywalker, he's another coordinate card. He's a 5-cost 6/6, which those are Poe numbers. Those are pretty strong, right? And coordinate, when coordinate's activated, on attack, draw a card. Drawing a card is really good, especially with these red decks. They tend to fizzle out, and then, you know, it can become a problem. But when you attack with Anakin Skywalker and you have coordinate activated, you get to draw a card. So that can really help you kind of prolong your plays and keep you like in the game. The next card I want to talk about, we have the 332nd Stalwart. Now, coordinate, this unit gets +1/+1, so it is a 1-drop, which is pretty cool. So it makes it so you can potentially play 2 of these on turn 1, and then next turn you can potentially have a coordinate activated. And if that's the case, then these become 2/3s, and that's pretty strong. If you end up having 2 2/3s plus another unit on turn 2, it can really start to, you know, provide that pressure for your opponent to have to deal with these units quickly. And then they'll probably end up swinging into it and then bring you back down to 2 units. But still, you might be able to take out their unit, because having that +1/+1 could be really strong. So it's just a very simple Republic clone trooper. Again, it has coordinate. So you see the 3 starter deck cards. Captain Rex is used to activate coordinate kind of right away, but you do have to hit the 6 resources to get to that point, right? Then you have Anakin Skywalker, who allows you to draw cards again in a red heroism deck that is really strong. It's one of the reasons why I really like Cassian, the leader, because whenever he swings into the base, you draw a card. I love card draw in these types of decks, and I think that Anakin's gonna be really, really strong. Plus a 5-cost 6/6 is a really good stat line. And then you have this 332nd Stalwart, and it's a 1-drop 1/2. Again, being able to play these weaker units, these 1-drops, and being able to activate coordinate as quickly as possible is really good. Also, once you get coordinate activated, it does become pretty decent, right? It's a 2/3, so essentially an Alliance X-Wing and something like that. So you're gonna be just not in space, but still pretty good. Another card I want to go over, there are 2 more cards I want to, actually 3 more cards. There's 3 more cards I want to go over in this video that were revealed after the starter deck. And the first one we're going to talk about is General's Blade. Now, General's Blade works very well with Rex. As I stated before, that you can go ahead and make Rex cost less, right? You can make him cost essentially 4, making him a 4-drop 4/4, and then you get your coordinate activated way earlier, right? But General's Blade is a 3-drop upgrade. If it's attached to a Jedi, it gains on attack. The next unit you play this phase costs 2 less. So if you can manage to get this onto your Jedi unit and then swing next turn, you can make Rex cost 4 and then go ahead and drop him for 4, right? So on the turn we have 3 resources, drop this onto a Jedi unit. I'm assuming they're going to make some cheaper end Jedi units, but you don't actually know that for sure, right? If they make a 2-drop Jedi or not. But if that's the case, you go ahead, you play this when you have 3 resources. Next turn you go ahead and swing, and then you can go ahead and play Captain Rex for coordinate activated on turn with 4 resources, and that's just really, really strong. So General's Blade, I think that, again, if you get a cheaper costing Jedi, the potential is there to get Captain Rex out super early and to really activate coordinate and start to really get in some damage. So pretty cool. Also, an upgrade that gives +3/+3 we've seen with Jedi Lightsaber and Fallen Lightsaber. It's really good, and you know, it provides pressure right then and there, because you're essentially making, let's just say you put it on Ahsoka. I know this goes against what I was saying, but Ahsoka then becomes a 6'9" with the potential to become an 8'9", right, with Jedi General's Blade, and that's pretty crazy. And then when you're swinging with her, you're able to play something for cheaper. So that's pretty cool right there. Next card I want to talk about is Jesse. Jesse is an interesting card. He gets raid 1, so he's a 3-drop, and when he attacks for 5. A 3-drop attacking for 5 is absolutely nuts, right? It's really strong. It's kind of like getting your let's say Green Squadron A-Wing with a wing leader, and it's swinging for 5, but it's just on one card. You don't need anything else buffing it up. So that's pretty crazy. The only caveat is that when it's played, an opponent creates 2 Battle Droid tokens. Now, you might think that that's not going to be worth. Your opponent's going to be able to use those for exploit and all these things, but I honestly think Jesse is going to be really good. I think that, again, being able to swing for 5, as long as your opponent's not having a bunch of Sentinels, swinging for 5 right away is really strong. And then also on top of that, I think that even if you give your opponent's battle droids, right, those tokens, I think that you can use those to your advantage. I think that if you have a good amount of units with Overwhelm, you can really start swinging into those battle droid tokens, taking them out before they can use them for exploit, and then also dealing excess damage into the base. I think that Overwhelm is going to be pretty big in this set in terms of like the value you can get out of Overwhelm. So think about it in Red Heroism, right? And you go ahead and you have K2SO on the board. They have a battle droid, and you're down to 1 HP with K2SO. If you go ahead and you swing K2SO into the battle droid, you're doing 3 excess damage into the base. And then on top of that, you'll end up defeating K2SO because he only has 1 HP left. And then you're hitting the base potentially for another 3 damage. And that's a 6-point swing with one attack with Overwhelm. And that, I think, is going to be a big thing in this set. Things with Overwhelm, because there are going to be a lot of tokens being made, I think that they have a big chance to kind of buff up, right? Another card we're going to go over, probably should have went over this a little while ago, but it's another coordinate unit. We have the Coruscant Guard, and the Coruscant Guard coordinate ambush. So if you have 3 units on the board, it does get ambush. It is a 3/2, so nothing too crazy, but again, being able to get an ambush unit when you have units on the board is pretty cool. And the final card we are going to be talking about is Plo Koon, one of the more recent cards revealed. Plo Koon, another Force Jedi Republic. I love Plo Koon, one of my favorite Jedis. I always liked playing with him in the video games when he had the orange lightsaber. I thought that was always really cool, which is what got me into really liking Plo Koon early on when I was younger. But he also has ambush. He is a 5-drop 3/6 cunning heroism. He has ambush, which goes with cunning very well. And he's also a coordinate unit. So when he has coordinate, he has raid 3, which can be really strong for a 5-drop if you have coordinate activated. And even if you only have 2 units on the board, you play him, coordinate's activated when he's played. And then you can go ahead and swing in for 6 into something and really start to take out your opponent's stuff. And I just think that Plo Koon, I love the art. I think a lot of the art in this set is looking fantastic. I'm a huge fan of the Clone Wars, and I think they're doing a really good job, again, with how they're making these cards very thematic, right? I think Jesse is right on point, being that he always felt like, you know, he's just able to take care of everything, take out all the battle droids. So giving your opponent something to prove that he is strong enough to take out those battle droids is sick. Love the card. And then Plo Koon as well. I just really, the art on Plo Koon card is just really, really good. And again, ambush and coordinate. He has potential to coordinate and ambush him for 6. And then even if you're only ambushing him for 3 and taking something out, next turn, if you have coordinate activated, you're swinging into the base potentially for 6. And that's dangerous right there. But that's going to do it for all of the cards I want to talk about in this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys are excited for the next set as much as I am. It's so much fun talking about these cards with you guys. Eventually, Matt will be back. But right now, we're rocking solo. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys are new here, hit that sub button. Support is always appreciated. And I'll see you guys in the next video.